Hello, hello. Good morning. I'm here. I think I made it on time almost, except I was just undoing this one last cable for something. So we'll do that. Thanks for joining. Good to see everybody here. It looks like things are working. I think everything's on and running, which is fantastic because yeah, let me know if you can hear me okay and see me okay. I forgot my headphones, so I haven't actually checked. Welcome. Thanks for joining. Today will be fun. I've got a new setup here, of course. Constellation 4ME finally arrived, and I have been scrambling to set it up. So that is, I've got a new rack setup too, with some well-managed cables, and things are a lot tidier back there, which is nice. Maybe we can do a little quick tour back there to see what's going on. I'll move my coffee cup so you can at least see the 4ME right there doing all the work today. So people are saying looks and sounds fine. Hear and see you. Perfect. Great. Okay. Thank you so much. And yes, well, you do see the 4ME. It is sitting there in the rack. And I decided to actually keep the video hub in the rack for now. Although, as you can see, it's not powered on. It is one of the noisiest things in the rack, even with the quiet fans I put on it. So I'm seeing if I can get away with not using it. We will see how long that lasts. Eric says, how many twist ties are on the floor right now? It's more than that. There's cables and screwdrivers and tools all over the rest of the room. I've just tidied up this little corner of it for today. So, if you do have a question, I don't think this one's working yet. Oh, it is. Look at that. If you do have a question, start your message with the letter Q, and that'll filter it out on my screen so it's easier for me to find here. And I see a couple questions already queued up from the intro. Christopher says, is today from the Constellation? Yes, it is. So everything is running through the Constellation. And I can explain the whole setup I've got, although it's pretty conventional. I'm not going to say it's simple, but there's nothing like fancy going on. I haven't done any tricks really. Well, maybe that's not true. I do have a couple of tricks. We can talk about those. I don't have quite all the buttons on the Stream Deck yet either, so yeah. The Harold says looks nice and tidy. Maybe consider painting the rack white. You know, I almost did. I was when I bought this, I was this close to before assembling it, taking it to a place in town that does powder coat, and just having them powder coat it white. I don't want to use my spray paint, which I did. I did these with the spray, and it works, but it's a little bit fragile. And if you tighten screws too tight on it, it'll like take off the layer of paint. So I didn't want to do that for the rest of this because I knew it wouldn't be a good long-term plan. Powder coating is the better long-term plan. And I was like this close to just doing it before I assembled the whole thing. I decided not to. What is the camera lens you're using for the main camera? This is the camera is the BGH1. The lens is the 12 to 35 millimeter. And that is, I have it. I don't obviously adjust it, and it's not power zoom, so I can't remote control it. But I don't honestly adjust it very much. But I'm still trying to get figure out what's the right angle for this shot. I think I had it a little bit wider last week, and then I filmed something in here, and I didn't want the wide shot. So, yeah. What is the digital display behind me? We can talk about that. That's one of the things. It's linked below. That is something they sent me last week. To check out. It's the Pixoo64. Let me see if I can grab the link out of the description for you to drop it in the chat. It is a 64 by 64 grid, and it is, oh, there we go. And it has a couple of little, like, I don't want to call them apps, but little built-in things that it can do, weather being one of them. And you can also then go into your smartphone and where did I put it? you can go into your smartphone to load other images into it. So now we find out if all these buttons work right. So the smartphone has like, right now it's showing me like Christmas themed stuff since we're getting close to Christmas. But it'll be like user created art in the app. And then you can also like add your own. And you can find little characters and if you want to make any of these, you can just like make them yourself too and upload them into the app, which is kind of fun for everybody else to use. And then if you tap on one, it will load it into the frame, which is kind of cool. I need to make one of these with my colors. That's a lot. Here, let's do this one. This one's kind of cool. And there it goes. And now it's loaded and running on the frame, which is pretty fun. I like having the weather on it though. Lets you know what time of the year it is. Oh yeah, it's got a YouTube subscriber count as well, which is pretty fun. Let's see if it's connected. It's thinking. There it goes. Yeah, cool. It's a little bit chaotic. I wish this one's a little bit like simpler design. I'm gonna try to make one myself that does that. That's just a little bit cleaner. Yeah. Okay. Now how do I get back to the weather? Clocks. There it is. Weather. Cool. That's a fun little thing. Another question here. What's the 4-port mini in the back do? I know you're planning to use the Extreme ISO SDI for recording. So I didn't get the Extreme ISO. I got, or the Extreme ISO SDI. I got the small SDI one, and that's what that one is. So that's got 4 SDI ports in and 2 out. And the way I have it hooked up right now is it has 4 of the outputs from the Constellation are going into there. And that way I can pull up, obviously I can reassign them. So I can choose which of the 40 inputs in the Constellation go into that for recording. And I have it set to my 4 main cameras right now, or 3 cameras and computer. That's the other one. And you might notice that it is streaming. It is on air. And that's because that is one of the little tricks that I'm doing, which I'm going to figure out how to work into my intro sequence. So I've been really liking the effect that John and David Joshua Ford have been doing of the blur at the beginning of the stream. And the low-tech way to do that is to take a camera and just make it out of focus. And then you just use that as your intro. I wanted to see if I could do it a complicated way. And the answer is yes. Let me switch to that and you'll see what I mean. If I can find there's so many buttons on the Constellation. Look at this. There's so many buttons, and that's not even all of them because if I tab through, it'll bring the other ones out. Yeah, so many buttons. I'm looking for this button. So when I click this, it's going to cut to a blurry version of this stream, and now I'm blurred. It's also about half a second or 1 second out of sync, but you can't really tell because you can't see my lips moving. And I'm going to bring this into the intro somehow. I still want the map over it, of course. So I have to figure out how to lay that out. But I think it'd be kind of fun. Maybe the map can just be translucent or something. So the way that works is it's a complicated way. I don't have a diagram, but I might be able to make one. Let's see how quickly I can make a diagram by sharing my iPad screen. Is it going to work? Yes, it is. And where's my drawing app? So that one, and then I have a super source ready. Oh, how do I get it to output the? There it goes. So this is the ATEM SDI. and it is streaming to a computer, a server. Oops, keep double tapping the brush. So that is going to a Linux server running my favorite plugin, the Nginx RTMP. That plugin is actually then doing, sends it out to a program on the computer, FFmpeg, with a bunch of junk after it that tells it to blur. And then that streams it back to the Magewell ProConvert, which is another one of my favorite little devices. And that, of course, then is SDI back into the switcher. So I feed some sort of video into the ATEM SDI, tell it to stream that. It streams into a computer, software, which does the blur effect, pushes it back out to, oh, my diagram's cut off. It's because, yeah, I don't have an easy way to fix that right now. Easy way to fix it is to erase it and move it up here. And that's SDI. There we go. So that brings it back into the switcher. So I can cut to it like a source. So now, as long as I'm just have that running, I can always just go back and forth between the blurry version and the super source or the clean version. So that's the that's the complicated way. Yep. Kind of fun. Oh, and I can show you the actual command, the FFmpeg command to make it blur, which is, took a little bit of Googling to figure it out, but not too bad. Oh, I have two super sources now, so I can actually leave one set up on the computer configuration instead of switching these back and forth. But this is what happens. This goes into the config for the Nginx plugin. Basically, it pulls the RTMP feed. This is the filter that does a blur, copies the audio, although I'm not using it. And then this made it, between these two, that makes it nearly real time. And this makes it not super great quality, but we don't need a lot of quality because it's blurry anyway. And that will, if you use one of the higher quality ones, it kind of bogs down the machine. So I had to drop it down. And then this pushes it to the Magewell, and that's the Magewell's RTMP endpoint. So kind of a fun little hack. Han says, I think vMix has a plugin to blur in real time. Oh, that's cool. That makes it a lot easier. I don't have any of the vMix stuff set up here. MT said that's complicated. I would take a half transparent milky overlay. That would work too. I think for the intro though, it's more fun to be blurry. Oh yeah, this is a good point. When you go on the road, will you decommission the blur so you can use the ProConvert to receiver on the road stream back to the studio? Probably, yeah. Because I don't have two of the ProConverts. That way, so I'll keep my intro so that I can do it with the blur or not with the blur. But one of the other things I was experimenting with that while we were talking about the Nginx plugin, one of the other things I was experimenting with was doing a vertical crop. So FFmpeg can do a ton of different stuff. This is just a simple blur. This is a slightly more complicated vertical crop. So this is the video filter, which is, this one took me a while to get the math right. What this does is it, instead of blurring it, it's going to rotate 90 degrees and then take the middle chunk of it. So the point of this, I should have shown you the end result first. The point of this is to be able to stream a vertical version of this stream on Instagram through the in-stream encoder. So if I stop streaming the blur, where is that? Oh, and also Companion added some new actions, which is very useful for this. So I can now in Companion, I can make a button that sets stream keys. So you can set the service and a stream key. So I can copy that over here, and we're going to say vertical crop, and I have to go look at the setting. So instead of blur, we're going to call it, it's just called vertical crop. Great. And I think it's called vertical crop. Let me double check my config. Yeah, so I did. So now I actually have a button I can press, which will change the setting in the ATEM, and it should have changed. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with my screen when that's weird. That glitch is not on my monitor. It's only in that little glitch when I switch tabs. That's only showing up in the ATEM. It's weird because it's the same converter I normally use. Anyway, now that is set, let me go start the stream, and then you'll see what the ProConvert sees. How am I going to show you this? I need to make I'm going to make a super source layout for it. So this is what I can use the second super source for. Now, there's so much more room in this thing to be able to do things. Ooh, I don't know what that button does yet. Enable cascade. That sounds fun. We're gonna do box. Oh, how do I wish I could copy it from one to the other, because I want to start with mine. Aha, no. That's not what I want to copy. I want to copy super source 1 to super source 2. Okay, we're doing it in Companion, because that's the easiest way. I'm going to take this one, plus Magewell. So we're going to take, I feel like I've done this before. I did this one. I had to do this when Lily was on the show. Do I have that saved still? Yes, I do. This one is what I want. Super source 1 is the computer. Box 1 is the computer, box 2 is the main camera, and then box... Oh, that's redundant. Okay. Delete that. Box 1 is the computer. Box 2 is the main camera. And box 3 is the ProConvert. I knew I'd done this before. Let's see if this works. Oh, and I can do that on super source 2 instead of super source 1, so I can keep this one. It's like just moving into a larger apartment where you just have more room to spread out. It's really funny. There's so many more inputs and outputs. Okay, if I do that, oh, look at that. Okay. And I need to turn box 4 off. Super source 2, box 4 is off. And if I press that, now I can actually switch between the two super sources. So this is the box down there, and you can see the delay. That is what's coming out of the Magewell. And notice that it's horizontal video. Normally, I would be pushing horizontal video to it. What I've done here is I have used FFmpeg to rotate and sort of zoom in on that video. What that lets me do is then, because it's going back into the Constellation, I can take that out and bring that into 16 gets the ProConvert. And now, if you take a look at the in-stream, what does the in-stream see? It sees a normal vertical video. Let's go live. And I can get rid of the overlays. So that's what I was doing for the video that I did this week of shrinking down the live stream to put it and covering it with this graphic. But if I use the, I'm again a half a second out of sync or so on this, so ignore that, sorry. With the trick of using the server and FFmpeg, I can now actually have a normal proportion, like full zoomed in. Let's make that full screen. That way it looks like it's a properly vertical video, right? And I've got the banner on there still saying, find me on YouTube. But that was, I wanted to be able to do this, and I was like, there has to be a way to do it. So not purely hardware, but it is an interesting combination of hardware and software to make that work. So yeah, let me see if I have any comments about that. PC is flickering. Oh, the glitch is not on Alt tab, but it happened when you were drawing. Interesting. That's bad. Okay, well, so we'll have to pay attention to that, see if it's still going. Yeah, so that's kind of fun. Could it be that the Cascade thing combines both super sources to get 7/8 window? I have a feeling that's what it's for. Maybe we can play around with that a little bit later. Yeah. Okay, other questions. I'm gonna scroll back through. Rick says, do you do consulting for people setting up a studio? If so, what do you charge? I don't right now, just because I don't have enough time in the day to do that and all of the other work that I do. But you know who does do that is Photo Joseph. Hopefully he has time still. Let me find his link. It should be in the bottom of this video already, but here we go. Photo Joseph one-on-one consultation. There we go. So that's his link. And he is also very good at answering all of your questions about setting up a studio. Brian asks, is the clean feed on the ATEM the input with camera direct? How do you set up a companion button? Need to set up a live speaker without latency? Clean feed is no. Clean feed is something different. If you're talking about the ATEM Mini, I can show you what it looks like on mine. The this one, output one. Oh, the SDI doesn't have the same, obviously, because it doesn't have that HDMI problem. In the HDMI version of the ATEM, and I don't have one plugged in right now. Oh, I can go to the one at home. 10. Keep forgetting that IP address. No. There we go. Output one. There's a special section down here called direct, and that is not the same as clean feed. So clean feed, I think that's the video without the downstream keys. I'm not actually 100% sure on that. Pretty sure it's just minus the downstream keys, but direct is what you want for the no latency. So this will take the HDMI of input one and route it before it goes to the processor out of output one. And you can only do input one, input two on the extreme. That will output the video without the added latency that you get by having it do the HDMI processing. So if you're going to be blowing up the picture in the room, that's what you want to use. Keep in mind, there is still probably a delay on your HDMI from the camera out. So like these cameras are about, I think it's like 6 frames or something. And it is noticeable. And it's especially noticeable if you're in the room looking at the output of the camera, even with no other delay added. So you'll have to keep that in mind. Cool. Oh, earlier question that I missed from Carl. Any update on the house building project? Update on drone streaming setup video. I have not done a drone streaming setup video because, well, the easy way is using hardware I don't have. The DJI Mini 3 and the Pro controller lets you just take HDMI out of the controller, which is definitely the easiest. The other option would be RTMP streaming to a device like the Magewell, which obviously is going to not work in some scenarios, depending on your internet connection and where you want the signal to come out, but those would be the two options. And I've not done an actual video on that, but that's the TLDR. Cool. Okay. Let me, I need to turn off the Instagram preview. It's distracting me in the corner there. Oh, but that's actually a good chance to mention the in-stream. So this is the in-stream encoder from YoloLiv, and this is, they are actually doing a really big sale right now on all of the YoloBox products. So two sales I want to mention. There is this link is down here already. So there it is, massive YoloLiv sale. This is on their Amazon page, but it should be on all the other stores as well. So they have like dropped the prices a lot right now. It's good. I think it's only for the next couple of days. So if you were thinking about a YoloBox Pro, it is now $900, down from I think $1,300 was the normal price, and the vertical in-stream is $999 right now. The Mini is $699. And this is that's the Mini, $598, even better. Yeah, really good prices right now. So if you have been thinking about it, this is a really good time. Along with that is the discount on the stands at PK1.tv. We have a coupon code BFCM2022, 30% off through the end of the month on any of the stands from the NX3D stores. So DVE store is doing their own promo for it. I don't think you need a coupon code for that. It's just updated pricing. But on the NX3D stores, you get 30% off with that coupon code. And that's on all the PK1 products. So that's the ATEM Mini Extreme stand, the Pro, any of the YoloBox stands, the new in-stream. And we even have the new version of the YoloBox Pro stand, which is smaller, more lightweight, and quick release. So it just sits in there instead of being clamped in, which is convenient if you're going to be using it on the desk and then want to take it somewhere. So this is with you can see the new shape of the side pieces is smaller, no screw holes, and it just sort of quickly pops in and out. So those are the first good deals I want to mention. Where did I go? Chris says, what do you think of the Bird Dog Play? I finally got mine. I haven't had much of a chance to try it out yet just because it came last week, and then I've been setting up the Constellation. I'm planning on putting it in there, just having it always connected into one of the inputs. But so far, the one thing I did try with it, I was very disappointed by, which was using it for phone camera. So I like being able to just take out a phone and like do a wireless camera, which I've done with the Apple TV before, which works quite well, and I don't really have any problems with that, but I was curious if there were other options. And sadly, it does not work well from that at all. So I remember last week I mentioned that, and somebody did mention that the Shoot app also supports NDI on the Pro version, which I thought I have, and I haven't tried that yet. I apparently don't have the Pro version. I thought I did. Okay. Maybe I did and it's not restored. Well, we'll try that later. But the NDI camera app, or NDI Capture is what it's called, did not work at all with the Bird Dog. So I was disappointed about that for sure. Sadly. But other people have had no problems with it for other kinds of NDI feeds, just not from that camera, the phone camera. Yeah. Okay, other things I wanted to mention is Other things I wanted to go over today. Couple other little gadgets to look at. So this Uni is a brand that I have been using for quite a while. Random chargers and stuff. I'm gonna drop this link in the chat first so it gets into the timestamps properly. This is, they're also doing a good discount right now on a bunch of this stuff, but they have a whole collection of things, and they actually sent over this one, this 6-in-1 USB-C hub, which is super cool. So this is the hub. It's got this little rubbery sleeve on it, which is removable, and the cable's removable, which is kind of nice. Some of them have the little tails that are always attached. This is what it looks like without the case, and it's got all sorts of things. So that goes into the computer or iPad, full-size SD, micro SD, and 2 regular USBs. On the other side, it's got another regular USB, a USB-C, HDMI, and Ethernet. So why is that 6? It feels like a lot more than 6. It's got all sorts of things. Oh, I guess USB, network, HDMI, SD card, micro SD, and USB-C. Okay, that is 6. It just felt like more. Nice and solid. Goes into this little sleeve if you want it to be rubbery, and then it comes with a little short cable, which is nice. They do have longer versions of this cable, which I've bought many times, and I like them a lot. But it comes with this nice little short one. And then, yeah, should work with the iPad. Let's, that's what I want. That's what I wanted the other HDMI cord for. And then I remember where I plugged that into. So that made the iPad turn off the AirPlay, and I should have wrong ATEM. Back to the 4ME. What is it called? What was that one called? I plugged it into, oh, I don't remember which input I plugged it into. Maybe it was, let's take SuperSource 2 and type box 3 and see if we can find it. I think it was 21. It was 21. Look at that. Good guess. So that is the feed from the iPad screen over this HDMI cord. So yeah, that works well. Questions coming in. No power input. No, so it's not, at least it's not marked power, but there is a USB-C there. Now I want to read it. I don't think it is power input, because it's meant to be like a portable dongle, not, oh wait, I'm wrong. That is what that USB-C is for, which means I should be able to take that power and charge the iPad with it. Is that? Sure enough, it's charging. Well, that's great. Usually they have a little, I thought they usually have a little power symbol on it, but there's no little markings on it, so I was not sure about that. That's what the USB-C is for, which means I'm guessing that USB-C is actually not data if it's supporting power. That's my assumption. Yeah, so that's super cool. And yeah, USB-C is power delivery, so you can charge stuff. 100 watts too, so plenty of room. IT Never Gets Old says using the NDI app on the iPhone with the ProConvert works very well. Yeah, that is true. The ProConvert is good for NDI also, and I do have the NDI version. I think they actually discontinued the non-NDI version officially, but I have the non-NDI version, which I left at home, so I can send my feed to Lily's Extreme in case I want to guest there. Yeah, so here's the NDI config in the Magewell, and obviously there's no NDI yet, but NDI HX camera is the app, and there it is. So that should let me switch ProConvert. There it is. Yeah, that's working great. So let me go back to the ProConvert, and then we can do. Oh, I don't know why the aspect ratio is wrong though. It's not doing. It's not doing full. Yeah, it's got. Now you can see the mess. This is the mess I was talking about. I'm gonna leave it small so that it's not so obvious. All sorts of cables down there. Yeah, so that's my little rolling cart, which is on wheels, and I've got a camera, screen, and a microphone and an audio interface that goes into the camera there. And that I've been moving around in here, and I use it to, sometimes I use that one to film videos on. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave it like that, like leave it as my mobile cart. It's kind of nice being able to just position it anywhere or like point it at the gray wall if I want to. Yeah, so that's my messy cables. Here, let's go. Let's make myself a companion button so I can actually switch to this. The Magewell Pro Convert is, oh, one of the annoying things is that when you're setting up the labels, the inputs are normal. So input 1, what's called 1 on the software app is in fact port 1, but that's not what happens on the outputs. 1 on the output is just black, 2 is color bars, 5 through 20 are masks. You don't actually get to the SDIs until here. 31 is actually SDI output 1, which means as soon as I relabel these, there's almost no way to know what the actual port number is anymore. Which is kind of frustrating. So yeah, I don't know, super weird. I wanted to label 21 as patch 15. You'll see why in a second. And then I wanted to find what number the Magewell is in, which is 28, which is actually 28 because the inputs are all numbered properly. So I can go here and give myself a button for 28, 28, and 28. There we go. Because now I have a quick way to, yeah, why is it not, I don't understand why the aspect ratio is wrong. You'll see what I mean. I don't know what's up with the black bars on the side. Anyway, now you can see the Extreme in action, or the Constellation in action. And there's my little patch panel on the front. I've got the Pearl Nano is going to live there now, although it's loud, so I have it on a network power switch, so I can shut it off when I'm not using it. Got a little Anchor dock thing that is connected to the Mac Mini down there. And then, do I have a way to show you, and you can still hear me? Let's see if we can take a look inside. This is not a good angle for it. That makes it look messier than it is. One of the new things I added was a shelf up on top. Maybe I have to just turn on the audio from the iPhone so I can just talk at the iPhone. Let's try that. So can you still hear me? one channel. There we go. Now it should be stereo. So, yeah, I'm sure the audio is muffled because this is just a built-in mic on the iPhone. But what I wanted to show you was this little shelf of my converters to keep them tidier. And then down here is just, this is not super tidy, but it's a lot better than it used to be. I can at least like access these things now. It was a bigger pile before. And if I get out of that first layer, you can see, there we go. So, and I've got, I'm actually using this rear patch bay also. So all of the inputs and outputs of the Constellation go here, and those are the ones that run into the room. So there's nothing that goes into the rack that is a long wire into the room. So these are the two little HDMIs I got to the desk. Yeah, feeling a lot better about that setup. We will come back to the desk. And back to the good audio. So, yeah, I'm a little bit annoyed about the black bars on the side of the NDI camera. Oh well. Doesn't matter. Let's get that charging. Shift Command 3 for screenshot for your ports reference. I don't know what you mean. Where did I get the thin SDI cables? I don't know. I just found them on, I think, Amazon. Nothing particularly. I just Googled until I found thin ones. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the thin ones. They're a lot easier to work with, especially when you have that many of them crammed in. iPhone mic is pretty decent, actually. Thanks, Daniel. Oh, Lintago says there's some noise in your sound from time to time, like a vibration or something. There is somebody leaf blowing outside right now. And it's intermittent, so it'll like turn on and then it'll turn off, and it's really annoying. They were out there an hour ago, and I was like, maybe they'll be done by now. But no, they're not done by now, so oh well. I'm sure it's coming through a little bit. IT Never Gets Old says, how many multi-views are you using right now? So I actually only have one that I'm looking at right now, so I think I can kind of show you. That's the main multi-view that I'm looking at, and it is multi-view 1 in the ATEM. I have customized it, so I have the two super sources up in the corner. I have a couple of other sources, the ProConvert and the Apple TV, which are random input numbers, and then these are like inputs 1 through 8, and I don't have anything in 7 and 8 yet. And then that's ME1, which is essentially program. So that is that's all I'm looking at. You can see on the rack behind me over there is actually a second multi-view, and I haven't really touched that one at all yet. One of the things I did do with the setup is I routed all of the multi-views outputs into the Constellation. So what that means is I can very quickly change what's on that monitor. So I can, well, once I get companion buttons for it anyway. Here, let's just make a couple. Where do I want that? ATEM outputs. I have a screen for that. So that's 16th. This is probably now I can't remember what these do. Oh, right. These are these going to work? Oh, they will. Okay. So I've made a, I need to make more of them now, but these are little, So that is, that jumps to this page, which sets what goes out of the output 1, which is currently the main camera, which is what's going into the input 1 behind me. So if I change that, yeah, that changes behind me. So I'm just going to do a shortcut for now and make little shortcuts like this. So this was, this is meant to be the monitor that's over here. So that is aux. Oh, that's ATEM SDI. We're gonna get rid of that. I don't care about that. So that is, let's use the presets to start with. ATEM Constellation. What did I say that one was connected to? Output side monitor is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So output aux 7. And now I can choose what to show there. So normally I'm going to have Multiview 1 there. So that's what I have there. We'll also grab the other multiviews though, because that's what I wanted to show you. And then I may want to full screen probably ME1 in case I want to check focus up close. And what else may I want? A large version, maybe the Apple TV in case I want to like see what's on my iPad screen. So with those buttons, I can now, let's go back to the side view. I can go into my ATEM outputs and now I've got all those buttons here. And now you can see that will change as I press these buttons. Cycle me to it. Wow, that's chaos. I don't know what's going on in that multi-view. Or I can show the program, or I can show what's on the Apple TV, which just has these nice photos on screensaver while there's nothing shared to it. So that is super handy. Now I can change what's on that monitor really easily. And I decided for now, I'm going to keep the, I've essentially sacrificed 4 of the inputs of the Constellation to route the multi-views back through. So they just loop through. And we're going to stick with that for now until I need those inputs back. And then I will possibly use the matrix for that instead. We'll see. Thanksgiving is the last hurrah for leaf capture. I swear. So I was here yesterday setting this up and biked over here, setting everything up here. And between last night going home and this morning coming here, I swear all of the trees dropped their leaves. Like the streets were full of leaves. It was out of control. Yeah. Oh, Robert has a question about the YoloBox. Does the YoloBox Pro have a completely self-contained cell phone in it, or does it have to connect to an outbound cell phone wired or tethered? It has all of the options. So there is a SIM card slot in it. That's true with all the YoloBox and the InStream. You can pop in a SIM card, which I've done from my own phone before, and just popped in. It grabs the signal just fine. Or you can, if you want to, there's an Ethernet port. Here, I can actually show you on the InStream because it's the same on all of them. So the Ethernet port on the side, you can plug it into a other router that has a SIM card slot in it if you want. Then it can also get on Wi-Fi. So the it can connect to obviously your Wi-Fi in your room, but also your phone Wi-Fi hotspot it can connect to as well. And all of the above. But it does also have the SIM card slot in it, which is super cool. And that's usually what I ended up doing with it when I'm traveling with it. From Spots, yeah. What's the brand of the HDMI SDI patch rack? Nothing fancy. I got, let me see if I can find it. That one was C2G. It is on tiny sale right now. Let me copy that link. Patch panel. Oops. Didn't know there's shortcuts in the YouTube Studio. So that's the patch panel. Looks like that. And then the SDI and HDMI Keystone things I got a long time ago, so I don't know if I can find them or if they still exist. There's the HDMI one, and there's a bunch of Cat 6 ones, and do I have the SDI ones in here? I got them a long time ago. Here we go. Here is the HDMI Keystone and the SDI Keystones. And yeah, so these, oh wow, it's been a long time. Last purchased 2018. But yeah, these are the ones I've been using, and haven't had any problems with them, which is great. And looks like they are, in fact, still available. This, I actually did, it took me a while to find these ones in particular. These ones are thinner than some of the other ones, so I'm trying to remember. There was one brand that I got that was, they were a little bit too wide, and in the patch panel that has, this one has 16 ports. You can also get a patch panel that has like 24 or something. So they end up getting closer together, and then those things don't fit. So I've been using the 16 port for that because there's just enough space to make sure everything's separated. Okay, cool. Let me scroll back through the questions here. Oh, and what do you do? And answered Robert's question also. Thank you. There is no sacrifice with a 40. Yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of things to connect to it, but so far I have plenty of inputs left. 58 centimeters of snow dropped last weekend. That is too much snow. That is a lot. Sven says, forgot the question earlier. You have the 8-in-1, not the 6-in-1. That explains the 8 ports. I don't know why I said 6. You're right. This is the 8-in-1. It says 8-in-1 on the box. So, and there are, in fact, 8 slots on it. The Janeverse. One, please say my name. Did I say it right? The Janeverse. 2, I have something similar to that. Now, question. What is the most expensive thing you have relating to Cyber Monday? Let's see. Probably it is, because the Blackmagic Constellation 4ME is definitely the most expensive thing I have, but that is not on a Cyber Monday sale. Probably the YoloBox Pro, which is, this was the original one they sent over. Probably, because it's like, it is on Cyber Monday sale right now. Where did that tab go? But, so it's a good deal at $900, but I think the normal price is like $1,300. And I don't think anything else I have linked here for the Cyber Monday deals is that expensive. But I will drop another link. The one that I shared yesterday or last week with some more of these fun little fun things to share. This has the things if you're curious about these, I talked about these things in last week's stream, but it does a couple of these, you know, are still here. Here's the 8-in-1 hub. There's that picture frame we talked about in the beginning. Of course, I use a Stream Deck all the time, and it's on sale right now. And there's some other things that I've been enjoying using. Oh, this hard drive was on a really good sale. I hope it's still going because that was a great deal. Oh, and then this Anker battery. This was part of the video I did for them a couple of weeks ago now of going over the GAN Prime products, but this has been a really cool battery. It has a little power charger built in, which is great, so you never have to worry about forgetting a thing to be able to charge it. But then you can also charge it over USB-C if you want. But that will also output enough to charge a computer. How many watts? 65 watts, which is enough to charge the Air for sure. And it can do a good job of charging a Pro somewhat. MacBook Pro. But yeah, this thing is great. So been a fan of carrying this around with me as well. I should show you what's on my iPad screen since I've flashed it on the screen a couple times now. Let's go back to the AirPlay. This this was there we go. This was a thing I made yesterday as I was setting up the studio. It is a little bracket that I needed to be able to mount the loudness meter. So I have that little loudness meter and it doesn't have a tripod screw in it. It has a little stand that comes built into it. Let me see if I have where is the loudness meter? This one. So does this work? Yes. This is what it looks like. And yeah, you can see it's got a little stand built into it. And but there is no tripod screw on it, which is really annoying. On the back though, it does have these other two screw holes. So that one and that one. And apparently it's made for like, there's a line of mount things that come with that, with a thing that can attach into that. Never heard of it before, but that's what those screw holes are for. And I was like, I bet I can make a little bracket to give myself a tripod screw. So that's what this is. Drop in a little hex nut that is the 1/4 inch thread. Those two screw holes are the right space and size for mounting on the back of that. And then this is now screwed onto the back of the little device. And now I've got a tripod screw that I can attach it to various things. So that's what that is from. And I really, really like being able to just think up a random bracket that I need and then go make it in the 3D printer and not have to wonder if it exists. No tripod screw because it's not for video people. It's an audio engineer tool. Sure, but like, surely audio engineers need to mount things, right? Like, it just seems like 1/4 inch screws are very useful to mount things. Anyway. Okay, other questions. Is TC Electronic a Behringer Midas owned company? They're the same website UI. I noticed that. It freaked me out the first time I saw that. I believe so. I believe it is all under the same umbrella. I don't remember exactly how that happened. They talk about it on their website. Wrong one. There we go. On their website, starting in 1976, but then in 2015, Music Tribe acquired them. So then they joined all those other brands. Roxanne says, I have to leave now. Please don't forget to click thumbs up. Bye. I enjoy this format here. Thank you for joining, and see you later. Oh, we're already at an hour. Wow. Okay. We put them on our desk. I don't know. I'm just saying, I think you could benefit from tripod screw mounting things in various ways. Camera rigging, video gear rigging stuff is fun, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. So unless you're really just sitting at a desk that you can deck out. Oh, question I missed from earlier. From Larry, when connecting various cameras to the YoloBox Pro, I get the rolling circle and can't see the video. The Yolo will usually show the output of the video, but I lose the preview, so I'm choosing blindly. Oh, that's super weird. I haven't seen that one before. I've definitely had it show the spinning circle and get stuck there, but that's when it it doesn't recognize the signal at all. I haven't seen it show the spinning circle, but then still actually be able to process the video. I've never seen it before. I would recommend just unplugging it, plugging it back in again, because sometimes it'll sync up right the second time you do it. Another question from the Janiverse. You didn't tell me if I said it right. Do you have anything you regret buying related to Cyber Monday? Anything I regret buying? Interesting question. What have I bought recently that I regret buying? I did buy a, I'm not going to put this firmly in the regret section yet, but I did buy a digital photo frame that I was trying to get set up just now to be able to have photos running in the background, and it did not work as easily as I wanted it to, and I haven't troubleshooted why yet. It could be that I just formatted the SD card wrong. I'm just going through my Amazon here. Yeah, I haven't bought very much exciting stuff yet. I bought a new set of rack screws. Hopefully they work. They haven't arrived yet. I think they come tomorrow. Oh, I did buy, which are coming later this week. This is a very good deal, and let me grab this link because this is worth mentioning. The ATEM Extreme or ATEM Mini ISO and the Pro, the ones that can record to USB drives. Blackmagic actually recently, that's not the right webpage. Blackmagic recently updated the list of recommended USB drives for the ATEMs, and the list shrunk a lot, which is weird. So I don't know if that just meant they did more testing and found some reliability issues with certain drives. So if you are recording to a USB drive with an ATEM, definitely go onto the Blackmagic website, go to the support section, click on the ATEM, and then scroll down here until you find recommended USB drives. I guess it was November 2021, which is a longer ago than I thought it was, but still, this list is different than it was when they launched, and you might notice that there are almost no 2 terabyte drives in here. Very few, and even the ones that you might expect, like, oh yeah, I think there was another T5 in here before, but now only the 1 terabyte is recommended. And then for the SanDisk ones, there's no 2 terabyte and there's no 1 terabyte of the V2. But this one is in the list, and that is what I wanted to grab the link for, because that's the one I just ordered. I ordered a couple of them, and where are you? There we go. There's the link. Western Digital, supported by ATEM. So there's the link for that. That is the 1 terabyte version, and it is on a pretty good sale right now, down from $200. 1 terabyte. I got the pretty gold one, and I feel like it was $100 yesterday. Yeah, so sorry you missed out on the super good deal. It was $99 yesterday, but it is on the supported list. Also, one of the things I do whenever I'm checking these deals is I go to Camel, and I punch in the URL for the product, and then it'll show you the price history, so you can see if it's actually a good deal. Because I feel like a lot of these places will say it's discounted from some price that it never has actually been. So I always go here and I'm like, oh, is it actually a good deal? And then yes, it turns out in the last year, it has never been $99. So that's why I snapped them up, especially because they're on that supported list. That's my Black Friday tip, Cyber Monday tip. Okay, other questions coming in. Great. Bailey says, do you have any experience with the QSC TouchMix 8 or 16? No, I don't think so. Nope, never used that. Sorry. Spots says, thanks for sharing your knowledge. You're amazing. Alberto here. Thank you for joining. Petra says, Clarity M2 is definitely on my short list. Thanks for introducing me a couple weeks ago. It is cool. It's a cool little thing. I haven't actually used it with DaVinci Resolve yet, but it does tie into Resolve if you're doing editing, so you can actually also see it in the edit, which I think the reason I haven't done that is because I normally edit on the couch at home, not anywhere where I've got a bunch of gear set up. But hopefully with any luck, I'm going to be moving my desk into the other corner of this room in a couple of months, once I finish getting some of the stuff cleaned out, and then I will maybe do some editing in here. The Jniverse says it's pronounced J, and then Niverse like universe, Jniverse. Cool. Makes sense. Very clever. Luke says, where in your audio chain do you connect the Clarity M? Is it via USB or AES? So it is via AES. So the way I have it is, actually, this is a good chance to bring up my H2R gear diagram, which is also on a Cyber Monday discount. Link is below. This is the studio. So ATEM 4ME Constellation HD. The software that is doing this diagram is called H2R Gear, and it is h2rgear.com, linked below. Huge thing on the screen because it has 40 inputs, so it's really wide. Normally the devices are a little bit more reasonably sized. But this is what I did yesterday. I was mapping this out before I did any wiring to sort of plan out where I wanted the inputs and outputs. One of the things that I haven't explored yet, haven't done yet, but I'm planning for is the audio. So I have the X32 rack mixer in that rack, and the cool thing about that mixer is it can extract audio out of the ATEM digitally, and then you can mix it into that mixer, and then you can also send audio from the mixer digitally back into the ATEM. If you look at the ATEM audio tab, of course we've got all the inputs up here, but there's also, if you scroll over, then you get past input 40. There's all these MADI channels, and this is the audio in the mixer. And here you can actually see my microphone is showing up in the mixer here, because that's where the mic is connected. But I'm routing it analog back into the ATEM for now, which is why it's not on. I think this is what is 26? That is, I think, a video that's playing, looping. Yeah, MADI 32, I think, is the program out or something. Anyway, there's 32 channels of MADI audio you can send back into the ATEM if you want to mix your audio in the ATEM, or you can go the other direction, which is pull audio out of the ATEM, mix it in the mixer. I haven't actually set that up yet, but that's my plan. One of the tricks is that it's not all of the channels. So because there's 40 inputs in the Constellation 4ME, I lose the last 10 don't send their audio into the mixer. So I only want to use the higher number inputs for things I'm never going to be mixing their audio from. So one of the first things I did was, okay, all of my graphics sources that are key and fill, where fill is the color graphics that you see and the key is the mask. I'm going to route the key into the higher number inputs. So if you take a look at the Ultra Studio 4K Mini, which is what the chat is using, the fill is sent into input 25 because I do have audio. That's what does the countdown timer at the beginning also. I want to be able to get the audio into the mixer, so that goes into 25 because it's under 30. But then the key channel, I don't need the audio from, so I don't want to waste a channel that has audio support. So instead of 26, which is what I would normally do, I'm sending it into 35. So I've got those paired up. So 25, 35, same with this hyperdeck, which I may use for graphics, 26, 36, and then the other hyperdeck is 30 and 40. So that's my trick to use these for things I'm never going to be routing audio from. 36, 35, 34 is, then multi-views also. So 31, 32, 33, and 34 are all the multi-views from the Constellation itself, which is why that does that loop, because I'm never going to pull audio, obviously, from the program audio back into the program. But what was I here to show you? The Clarity M workflow. So The web presenter is what I'm streaming this with. I have that connected into output 24, just all the way on the end. So it's easy for me to find it. That goes into the web presenter. The web presenter status page loops back into the Constellation so that I can send it out to one of the monitors, which is what I'm looking at in this teleprompter. So I can see on air and the audio meters bouncing. The loop out of the web presenter goes into this little SDI to 6G mini converter, which has AES support. So it is able to convert the SDI audio to AES. That goes into the Clarity M stereo. So I'm looking at this. I'm looking at the audio meter at the very end of the chain. So whatever is in the web presenter is what the audio meter is doing. I decided to do it that way instead of making it just one of the aux outs of the ATEM, which would have been the other option. One, so I didn't use up an aux out just for the audio, but two, because I want to make sure that whatever I'm streaming is what I'm actually measuring the audio. So that that's how I did that. Let me see if there's any questions here. I saw the meters on the X32 hitting red. In video gear, you generally want to be kissing the red lights, but not all of them. In audio gear, you never want to hit red. That's a good point. I mean, it sounds fine, but, oh no, you know what you were seeing is actually the, what I was showing was this computer version of this, which is in the Blackmagic interface. So that's the music, but we're seeing it in the Blackmagic interface. And if you go look at it in the X32, oh, I don't have this routed yet. But this is the audio that you're actually getting on the stream. So we are bouncing close to red, not quite hitting it. And that's the actual, I don't think that's quite red. Yeah. But that's what is being sent out to the stream. I think I've got the levels okay. No, back when you show the rack with your iPhone. Oh, you were seeing red over there? I don't know why it would have, don't actually know how that's possible because I was so far away from the microphone that I don't know what you're seeing. Eric says, kudos to attaching the TC electronic at the end of the chain. Best use of the meter before it hits YouTube endpoint. Yep, I agree. Did you end up selling the X-Air mixer? I can't remember what happened with it. I did. Yeah, I did sell it. Speaking of which, I also have a couple other of things. Here is... because I switched over to BGH1 cameras, I am selling two of the cameras that I was using. The A6400, which is actually got a bunch of accessories with it, so I'm selling it with the power adapter and the little cage and the 1650 lens, which is not in the photo, but that's like the lens that comes with it, the kit lens. So that, and also the LUMIX GH5S, which for $12.50, hopefully that's a good deal. I don't think you can get it anywhere else for that price. Relatively new camera. I got it in December 2020. Pretty much only ever used it inside the studio, so I haven't even taken it out traveling. Very good condition. So if you are looking for one of those, both of those cameras are great. I don't have any problem with the cameras. LUMIX GH5S is just does not serve any purpose for me when I've got the BGH1 cameras now. And the Sony A6400 has better autofocus than these cameras. So I am giving that up, but just for the integration with the rest of the cameras. Oh, it's James, thank you for the super chat. Appreciate it. There we go. That's still working. Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Getting down to the wire here. We're going to try wrapping up at 11:30 to move over to Lily's show. Carl says no last minute Lily changes. Looks like I haven't gotten any text from her, so things must be working. So her show is what is she doing today? I think she's doing a plan with me for next year. She's got the ATEM Mini Extreme, that and companion, which she's running the show now entirely on her own with the companion buttons that we've set up for her. And hopefully that's still running. Yeah, looks like it is. This is her companion config, which I can get to over the VPN. And that's her main show page. Looks like she's testing things out. I saw a button press. That's good. Yeah, we'll see if we get any texts about scrambling for last minute fixes. Link to the 8-in-1 hub for Newegg is broken. Oh shoot. Okay, I'll try to fix that later. Have I looked at Video Pencil from the developer of Shoot? No, that sounds cool. I might have to try that. Jules says, if you were in the market for a new Mac, would you wait till next year or go for the 14 or 16 M1? I assume that means you aren't interested in the Air, because honestly, the Air has been great. And I am very possibly going to be buying the M2 Air in the next month or so. Mainly because I've been so impressed with the M1 Air, but I got the cheapest base model, 8 gigs of RAM, 256 gigs hard drive. I kind of regret the small hard drive. That's my only regret with it, but I edit all my videos on it and it's fantastic. So I think I'm gonna, and that was what, I think a year and a half ago that I got it now. So I'm gonna get the M2 with a terabyte hard drive, just so I don't have to think about hard drive space anymore. The problem is that, like, even though I don't store my media on the computer, I edit off of an external drive, but the cache files that Resolve creates are put on the main drive. Other things just seem to eat up space. So yeah. I have run into, I'm always writing at about like 15 gigs free, which is not good. Seems like the X-Airs are out of stock everywhere in Australia. Oh, bummer. It's a cool thing. I upgraded to the X32 because of the MADI integration. So again, haven't quite set that up yet, but working on it. Levels on today's stream seem fine. No clipping. Oh, good. No text from Lily. Oh no, her phone must be broken. Hopefully it just means everything's going smoothly. Okay, what? I know I had a couple other things here I wanted to show. Oh yeah, let's go through a couple of these other little deals that I found. So first of all, if you are moving off of Twitter onto Mastodon, you can follow me there as well. But it's not Mastodon itself. It is my own website. But you can type in, I drop it into the chat. You can type that into your Mastodon and follow me there. But the reason I wanted to show this was because I posted a whole thread of deals. Starting with mine. So this is the PK1 Stands, 30% off using that code. And I am also doing 40% off my stress test video clips. So that is these are the little clips for testing out encoders. They are I don't actually have one connected right now, but here is what it looks like. All these little patterns test out different things, and this looks extremely blurry right now because it is a blurry preview of it, but it kind of gets the point across, which is that like, how bad do different encoders handle all this mess of animations? Color range tests, pixel and small detail animations. These are actually lines, 1 and 2 pixels wide. So 40% off of that. And then I was like, let's go find some more independent creators who are creating things on the internet and see if we can feature more of their deals. So another one is Pilot Institute. That is the Part 107 study guide that I use to get my drone license. Good deal happening on that right now, and big fan of them. H2R Gear is by John Barker. That's the diagram, the software I used to make the diagram of the studio. That is 50% off right now, the annual plan. The coupon code is in the description below. We've got my friend who makes cool keyboards. Here is a couple of keyboards that are on sale right now, which is really interesting keyboard layout. I don't actually have any of these, but I've been following him for a while as he's gone through the interesting challenges of actually getting products made in China. The teleprompter app that I use, just made by, small team, is 75% off. I think it's still going for the next couple of hours. 3 hours left for that. I should go upgrade because I've been using this app for a long time and I should probably renew it at this discount. I like this app a lot. I use it for remote control. So I have one iOS device under a teleprompter and then a separate one to control it remotely, which is nice. There's also stagetimer.io, which I don't have enough time to actually show you how it works, but it is a very cool remote control timer thing for sequence of events for a show. I did use it during the KMikeEM stream a while ago. They have a single event license, which I used for that. So you just pay $15 for 10 days of access to the all the pro versions if you don't want to pay yearly. But there is a discount for the yearly right now. That coupon code is also in the description. And lastly, I want to mention PlayOutB, which is a replacement for, or an equivalent to like a HyperDeck for video playback. So you can use a Raspberry Pi or other computer software to play out videos or audio. Runs on Raspberry Pi, Windows, or Mac, and it's again just made by a small team. It supports the Blackmagic HyperDeck protocol, which means you can control it from, or you can have an ATEM trigger it, which is kind of cool. So that link is below also. And those are my collection of deals for small creators, from small creators. Pilot Institute is fantastic, says Carl. Yeah. Eric says, I will say that link works on Mastodon. I've been following since last week. Yes, thank you. Raul says, sadly, very hard to get the BGH1 in Mexico. Still looking for my set of cameras. Oh, that's too bad. Cool. Okay, we're just about out of time. Let's see if Lily's stream is up because we're going to go redirect there after this one ends. Looks like. Why did Prusa Slicer open? That's interesting. Yep, looks like she's up with the countdown, which I take it means everything worked well. So if you want to keep hanging out with other cool people and hang out in the chat, and that's where we're heading, I will be there as well. And yeah, with any luck, we'll be back here same time next week. hopefully some more things will be sorted out in the studio, maybe some new gear to try out. I think I'm going to try dual stream to Instagram next week with the little vertical rotating trick that I talked about at the beginning. So I'll be using the in-stream encoder in vertical mode. Oh, I forgot I had another angle here. In vertical mode to with the zoomed in, which is off right now, but that's what I'll be using to stream to Instagram. And yeah. The Jane Universe, no, not out of time. Don't end it. Well, come over to Lily's stream and say hi. Oh, accidentally reset the count starting sooner than you think. Okay, well, I guess we better get over there then. Thanks, everybody. Let's see if my credits are working today. Thanks for all the super chats. Thanks for the messages and the questions. And we'll be back next week. Same time, same place. And I will see you over on over in the chat on Lily's stream momentarily. Bye.